Well, here we go then. The fourth and final round of the season opener. The Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open from Lotte Sky Hill Country Club in Sogipo-shi on Jeju. The field has been cut in half, and yesterday, moving day for the first time in 2022, saw our 62 competitors who made the cut jostling for positions throughout the afternoon and into the early evening, bringing us to the fourth and final round where someone will be crowned champion for the first time in the first of 33 events this season, with a purse of 700 million won up for grabs, with 126 of it earmarked for the winner. It's the first time throughout the weekend that we haven't had truly sunny skies. Still very comfortable out on course, 21 degrees Celsius as we begin our coverage, and steady winds as you would expect on Jeju. We will begin on the 13th hole, the par 4. The approach shot that will sit and stick. Yesterday, at the end of the opening round, we saw Nahi-1, Isomi, and Pak Jiyoung occupying the top 3 spots on the leaderboard, with the leader at 8 under par. Pacquiao nearly at that mark and attempting to level it here, just stops short of a birdie. Oh, so close, but the field, it is very, very tight as we get on the air. Isomi, one of the members of our 21st and featured group on the day. The defending champion is off to a wonderful round of 2 under par and currently sits 1 shot clear of both Nahi-1 as well as a hard charge today, Chang Soo-yeon. The former, this is the approach at number 10. 26 meters at the apex. It's carrying off to the right. Just about pin high, but a lengthy birdie putt will be up next. To 11. It's 85 meters out. Short wedge up onto the green for the 27-year-old Chang Soo-yeon. Bit of a roll back, nothing too substantial. That will be what remains for birdie. Tremendous day at 3 under par, bringing her up into a tie for second, as just mentioned, but all eyes will be affixed firmly on Isomi. One of the 2 events she won in 2021. At that point, just the 2nd win in her career at 9 under. She's been attacking the greens expertly, having a lot of success. She's one of the best on tour for greens in regulation last year, around 77%, even a bit higher through the opening 2 rounds in the low 80s. Can never count this one out on Sunday. Birdies at the 2nd and the 9th for Chanana. Here she is at 12. And onto the green in her best Sunday red. As you are viewers, and Halasan itself as our witness. Next 2 hours, 2.5 hours will fly by, and before we know it, we will have a champion. Cannot wait to bring it to you. My name is Adam Jenkins, grateful to be in the booth with you for this final round on Sunday, and the action just heating up. This is birdie attempt at 13. Never online, just a little tap in. Finish it out. 7 under and 2 back. Currently in a tie for 4th position with Pacquiao. She was something of an afterthought heading into the weekend. Did enough to make the cut, but after that it was relatively quiet. 7 strokes back as we cut the field down. Now this is looking left. A bit too much movement on it.
일단은 속으로 보여요? 이렇게 안 보이는데 이쪽이 차 있으니까 약간 생각해도 될 거예요.
Now another look at birdie. They're going to be coming thick and fast today. It's a tricky one up on that top shelf at the back left of the green. Downhill right away and requires some very careful finessing. 3 birdies on the round. Not a single bogey on the card either. On pace for her best round of the weekend. Might it be enough to best them all? Building off a 4 under round yesterday. Still even for Nahyuan. Bogey at the 3rd, birdie at the 8th, and looking to add another. She's going to have to get it 8.2 meters up the hill. Goes away by another foot or 2. Game's starting to cool off a little bit for the 28-year-old, still in search of her first ever professional win. 3 times a runner-up, 3 times on the shortest step of the podium. There was a time where we weren't even sure if she was going to be around on tour in 2022, finishing 73rd in the points. She had to go through the qualifying tournaments and ended up finishing 6th in November to secure her tour card for this season. Nice approach from off the green from ENG to set up a simple look at par. Shannon gets her par. Here we go to the 13th. Using every available blade of grass towards the fairway and just into the 3rd cut off to the right. Well, she's just going to hang on to the rough, guarding that back bunker. Not quite as tricky of a chip down. She'll be sat up nicely, looking down at the hole. Back with Isomi. Currently the 57th ranked golfer in the world. Hasn't had a ton of joy with the putter this weekend. It will take 2. 2/3 of the time that has been the case, but until anybody catches her, this will be her tournament to lose, especially in the final group. Shi Nahi-1 and Baek Jiyoung teeing off 10:21 this morning. That's nicely done over the water at the par 3. Needs this to save par here at 10.
Okay.
Come under pressure. Keeping the heat turned up at the heels of her groupmate.
Okay.
Right at the pin, carrying 3 or 4 meters above, and with the wind right in her face, made the necessary adjustments and will be set up nicely. Just about any one of the names, the top 8 in this tournament, have a chance. Yuhei ran a great round as well at 3 under, but the eye catcher leading the pairing tied for second. In Juyan with a round of 4 under in progress through 13 holes. Well, the adventure around 13 continues with Beckiel. Look at the touch on this. A high lobbed shot out of the rough. Kissing it on the green, about 4 feet short. She should be comfortably through that up and down. Now Isomi teeing off at 11. Averaging 252 yards per drive this weekend. 12th longest driver on tour at 245 last season. And our 4D swing cam. For those who want to figure out how to launch their balls with driver, take throughout the course of the weekend as well. This particular swing with driver has seen her steady with her accuracy. Slight dip from where she was last year at around 77% for the year. Saw her struggles yesterday relative to the opening 2 rounds at 10 of 14 fairways made in regulation. There's no doubt when you look at the stats in recent years that the preferred club, the favored club for Nahi 1 has been her putter. It's been her best club. Throughout the course of the season last year, she was just under 60%. Made her rounds a lot more difficult when your longest club is causing you some troubles. Well, it's onto the green and it will roll, but not nearly far enough. Now Chanana in the fairway. Bit of an awkward slope here. 109 meters out. Bumped off the fringe and it's going to keep on rolling to the left. Long uphill in her future. This is ENG for birdie. It's the slightest of touches to get it started. Six under is the score. Only a handful of holes to play. She avoided the bunker, but only just. Struck pretty well, just a little bit overhead. She got all of it. Off to the back fringe. Really choking down. Contact itself was almost perfect. Maybe a little bit too perfect for her case. Added about 15 extra meters than would have been ideal. Now Isomi, center of the fairway. Gap wedge to attack the pin. Almost came on back down. Baek Ji-young, as you could just see, a great approach of her own. Although the round has fallen off. 6 over on the day, a double at the second, 3 consecutive bogeys, 5 to 7. Had eyes for the bottom of the cup. A great birdie. Min Juyan. Now just one back of Isomi. Getting crowded in that P2 position. A bogey at the fifth had her at 2 under, and she's just been racking up birdies ever since. The 6th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th. Yes, that's 4 in a row, and now that lovely putt at 14. She is only one back of Isomi for the lead. Quite the distance from the front of the green to the pin placement in this final round. That was not going to daunt one of the most fearless competitors on the course today. She knew she had to strike it well. She had the patience needed, perhaps even too much, as it glances off the pin itself and stays out. Meanwhile, from off the back of the green at 11, now he won. Weight control, tremendous. Slightly offline to the left. Just misread that time. This is all that's left after a tremendous uphill attempt. Couple of feet down and in, still waiting in the wings, and a three-way tie for third. Isomi for birdie to get to double digits under par. It's straightened out at the very end and just pushed to the outside of the cup. Back-to-back pars now.
Bra.
You could hear her caddy say, "Get up." Over the water, into the rough. And a short tap in for a par save of her own for he won. Only birdie of the day came back at the 8th. Even par round, same with Hamin Song. So we remind you of the season-long competition. Nothing else like it in the world of golf. The LF has these points. As you can see, each color in the triangle represents a different aspect of the competition. From the ranking points at the end of the tournament, 500 for the winner, 400 for the runner-up, 350 for P3, to distribution points based on the actual score from Albatross all the way down to pars. And also some bonuses up for grabs. For example, 200 points if you finish in the top 10 in consecutive competitions, down to minus 100 for missing the cup. It's a unique way to see not only who finishes with the most points, but who is the most consistent, most well-rounded. And some round-by-round trivia for those who've brushed up on their Hangul reading abilities at the KLPGA's tour website. Another launched drive for Isomi. Nicely down into the fairway. She begins the 12th. And on 13. only just on the rough. 125 meters out. Cheng Su-yan. And rolling all the way to the back. More than any other round this weekend, those sand traps to the right of the green are certainly in play today. She has parred this hole each and every round so far this week. The bulk of her birdies have come on the Sky course, which is the 9 holes we play on the way out. Typically we don't get to see a ton of those holes as in depth as we do the back 9, save for the round highlights at the end of the round, of course. Nice up from Pacquiao. It's down to 109 meters. Green Jian. Pin high and only slightly off to the left. That will be to a mostly level look at birdie. Definitely want to be on the bottom portion of the green today. Otherwise, those downhill putts can wreak a little bit of havoc here. She's been literally perfect with the driver, 11 for 11 her fairways in regulation. Pretty accurate attacking the greens today as well. Great at it, and that's going to land in a nice spot. Just a little nudge and a par recorded. Well, from the second hole to the 9th hole, she had 4 birdies. That is now 5 consecutive pars since. Down to her final 4 holes of the round, so she either needs the 4 players above her to drop some strokes, or she's going to have to find a birdie in the last couple. Are looking to try and be front here, front center even. And this is off to the left, and that is towards the long grass by the water itself. It looked left right from its release, but it even got the waterfowl on the pond there to stir. Even if she comes up short today, Nahian, it'll still be a marked improvement on her best round from last year. More on that in a moment, as we are dazzled once again with the approach game of Isomi. The long road back towards the cup. Birdie seemed almost unthinkable.
어차피 내리막이라. 말투랑 좀 차이를 느낀다.
괜찮아. 이거 좀 올라간다.
We saw a lot more of this yesterday, especially for right-handed golfers, depending on what the wind wants to do. This back left is a pretty common landing location. But with the pin today, that means something went awry. Now the moment of truth that she investigates. And based on this march back to her bag, I'm going to assume that she didn't clear the water after all. Yes, confirmation that it was right in the splash zone. This is a deceivingly tricky par putt. Have to be concentrated. And that would be why Exhibit A, even a putt inside 2 meters on that downslope, can come back to bite you. And unfortunately for Zhang Suyan, it just left the face of her putter with way too much speed. Despite being much further out at the border of the fringe, Shanana is not going to need a lot of speed here. Let gravity do the work for you. Within centimeters will be another par. It's now 5 in a row since her last birdie at the 9th. Well, you average out her 3-round scores and it would get you to 69, which is what she's on pace for right now. This is now the 4th for Nahi 1. It's a disappointing feeling. Makes that walk to the green all the more long. An unforced error. The back 9 on Sunday almost always costs you a lot of potential prize money, but gets you out of the true hunt. This makes this bogey putt all the more important.
오르막에.
맞아. 우린 뺄
And she is still away. And in a typical scenario, in this position, you're thinking to yourself, if I'm gonna miss, I better miss short. But for now, he won. She's saying, I better make this. Better not be short, better not be long. .680 points was the mark set by Peng Min-ji in 2021. We will be hard-pressed to find a higher score through 29 events. We may see a higher score by the end of the year, but that is simply because we have 4 more events this season. As a record on tour, 33 events from now until nearly the end of 2022. will wrap up the final event from the 16th to the 18th of December. And a big ticket on the line next week at Perham. Could be a tournament defining putt here for Nahi One for bogey. She's got it started well. That is a very cruel result. There were patrons here, you would hear the gasp. It is a double. Now 2 over for the day. Genie for birdie. It's got to get right. Not just enough. Pretty well trading places. And now up to 7 under par. That is 2 back of Isomi, unless this putt is made for birdie. Just a little bit overhit. Maybe, just maybe, she would have had enough of the edge of the cup with a little bit less pace. But she will head to the next tee with the lead only at 1. At the par 5. Chance to move into a tie for the lead at 9 under. Almost about 4 feet beyond target. And both she and Isomi each letting an opportunity slip here in the past 30 seconds. This is the 13th. All kinds of bunkers. Tempting fate on the left side. So have the right pot bunker as well. All in, you're about 225 meters from the tee if you find that sand off to the right. And from there, the approach down the hill, over the sand, and needing to stay to the front right today. Our pin location 5 yards from the right and 10 yards off the front. And as we see here, short left or a little bit high and right can take you right back off the putting surface. Tricky pin location to say the least. Isomi has the honor. Be 6 iron here at 14. We haven't seen her go off the green all too many times this weekend. She's working at about an 80% clip. She will be in play, but certainly long, and will have her work cut out for her. Back down to the 14th pin. Nahi One trailing Isomi both literally and figuratively in this shot. Great round in progress at 5 under par. Certainly keeping the pressure on Isomi. Just off to the very bottom right of your screen, that is, of course, Baek Ji-young, the 3-time winner. This is her 186th event in the career of the 26-year-old. Unfortunately, it's gone off the rails. She is 6 over and down to even. That is tied for the second highest round of the day. Chang Soo-yeon. It's picking up a whole lot of momentum, and that's going to carry on. And those are always nerve-wracking putts when you start downhill and then you've got to ascend at the very end. Great approach, the par 5. 2.5 meters left for birdie, and it's on line. From our angle, that looked really promising. But it's pulled to the inside. She will be replaying that one in her mind for the next few minutes. We'll stay 2 back. In the end, she did drop out of the rough and find the sand. And from this position on the hole, right on the tree line, this is going to be a tough one. One last look trying to pick out her aiming point, make sure she's all clear to go as well. This is how she arrived in the sand. Just how far down she sat in the sand. It will be tough to see the top of the flag from there. Well, she added a little bit extra to it. This is going to stay on the green, but only just at the back left. Working on that left ankle as well. Stretching it out while she waits for the rest of her group to play. She just caught that right on the equator and probably gave her a few more extra meters than she needed.
빗바람은 아니고 슬라이스 바람만 있고. 엣지 78m.
78, 슬래치 81m, 핀 87.
And Benahian as well. Some players have just this uncanny knack to bail themselves out of trouble from the sand. You cannot necessarily say that about Nahian at 55% for bunker save percentage in 2021. Isomi. That's well short. Should have had a bit of a headwind. Highlighting how important it is to be towards the front, right? She just didn't carry that far enough. Speaking of sand, I should correct myself. That's actually was P10 last year at 55%. The bunker save for Nahian, so I stand corrected. However, she's not used to necessarily needing to play a 140-meter downhill putt from the sand, or blast from the sand. And for those curious, since we brought it up, Peisoyan, one of the best at 61.36% last year. Chung Yoon-ji led the tour through her 27 tournaments at 66%. Nearly playing bumper carts at the back right of the green with that approach. Down to just 6 holes for Isomi. The slimmest of leads. Just one shot clear. In Juyan, and a 3-way tie for third. As we take a break, and we'll be back to the Lotte Sky Hill Country Club in Maltz. Well, here's one you don't see every day. From this position off the green, Isomi is putting. It's the right decision, just a whole lot more sense of control when if you are slightly off the mark with an aggressive pin location like that, you could be looking at a very, very long par putt. But she was about an 80-degree angle to the hole when she struck that putt. Turned out pretty well. To 15 we go, checking in. Shanana, her approach. Well, she had the depth spot on. She was in pretty good position by the end of the round yesterday. She was 4 back after an even par round of 72, and she's continuing to trot along steadily. Now 3 back of Isomi with only 4 holes to play. Now from the beach to the back of the green. She'll want to have a few holes back today, certainly the last with her double bogey, but only the par 3 8th. Saw a circle on the scorecard. Ayan. "17 meters from the sand to the cup." And she did not have a ton of success last year. 40 points back. Ayan. She says, "I will take that stat, rip it up." Because it continues to ring true for her. She might even be further out now than she was when she took the sand wedge out of the bag. So Isomi needs this to save par. Slight right to left. Just far enough away from the cup to be troubling. She handles it exquisitely. A lot of pars here at 13 this weekend. That might have been the most difficult of the bunch and also may turn out to be the most important. Genie from the edge of the green. And that never had a shot. It was slow from the get-go. Not bad if you're going to miss short. If you're going to miss short. To complete the 2-putt par and avoid dropping a 3rd stroke over the last 2 holes. That will feel good. Keeps herself in striking distance of her group mates, but she's down in a tie for 6th with Yuhei Ran and Chanana. This won't feel good. Almost guaranteed a bogey. She's probably thinking that the whole way past the cup. She had been in sole possession of 2nd. Your first bogey since the 5th hole. Here's Chanana. Slight downhill to start. Move back towards us to the left. Needed to start it just a hair more to the inside. So she continues to stall at 6 under, 2 under round. Needs 2 birdies in the last 3 holes and some luck to have a shot. We certainly didn't expect it to get easy to the finish, but we are seeing some struggles across the top 10. Chance to check in on the par 5 15th. And good to see that birdie is possible here. It's now 2 in the last 3 holes. And all of a sudden, with 3 holes to play, So-Yeon Jung finds herself right back in contention. Little left to right, not a problem. First bogey since the 5th. Still a lovely round, even if she just comes up a hair short in the end. Her 4 under round in progress through 16 holes is still tied for the best on the day. Going with the 6 iron, hasn't birdied here all weekend. Bogey on Thursday, and 2 consecutive pars, and that spells another par if I've ever seen. Tell you what, if she makes this birdie putt, you could basically give her the title now. She's hanging around anyone, but she's definitely going to need to turn it up down the stretch here. First of 2 par 3s on the back 9. She's parred those 2 holes every single round, so she's 6 for 6 at par. Gonna need a bit more. She's also going with 6 iron. She looks down and she's going scuba diving again, unfortunately. That will basically spell the end of the title hunt for Naheon, who's going to have to go back to the drawing board, I think. Still in search of her first career win. Doesn't appear like it will be coming this weekend at the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. I was reaching back for a little bit more and powering it all the way up to within 2 feet. Don't look now, but Park-Yeol is 2 back. Down into a decent spot on the fairway. A look at the 14th. One of the most picturesque on course, but also one of the most daunting. Many a golf ball has found this encircling water. Let's see how many on the day. So far, only 2. If you think anyone underhit that, then you'd be surprised to see that someone was even 5 meters more shallow. But they are the only 2 of 62 on the day to not make it the 130 meters required. Well, up onto the step, perched above the hole, but that is a gargantuan ask to try and save a couple of strokes now. Back to 15, only 84 meters out. Gap wedge. Drops it in. Fantastic approach. To 17. 5 iron. Still on the green, but only just right to the very back. Rangefinder out to see what's in store. She will be able to grab the putter. Probably would have even if it had rolled onto the fringe. Only 3 birdies today, thus far, here at number 17. Kim Ji-soo had one of them, Kim Bo-hwa another, Hyun Se-rin. She did have an ace back at the 14th, to my recollection, the only hole-in-one we've seen this weekend. Push to the outside right. On the hunt for just her second win on tour and her first since the SK Networks Sogyung Ladies Classic back in 2018. Birdie was never on the cards based on her tee shot, but she should be in a comfortable par position. And at 15, has to move right on the heels of Isomi. Chang Soo-yeon. And she's got it. One back, she's made up her stroke that she dropped at the 13th. And she's in the home stretch, the final 3 holes. And very much in striking distance. To have any chance, she needs this, but it's looking like it's diving left. So it will be likely a double bogey. Take her down to 4 over on the day. How quickly things can unravel. 2 trips to the drink, and nowhere near Isomi. Oh, she's got some pressure coming. Needs this par, otherwise she has company at the top. To avoid her second bogey of the round and stay one clear of Chang Soo-yeon. Isomi for par. Just wide. And things just got a little more spicy. Admittedly, she's had her fair share of good luck thus far. Avoided a couple of close calls. Genie have to think at least 8 unders where she'd have to get, and nearly too much on it. But the line was millimeter perfect. Up to 7 under, 2 birdies in her last 3 holes, and now 5 on the day, and she is just 1 back. Heading to 18. Well, I think everyone is rooting to see this drop in. It's a double. Four back, 4 to play. Well, it's a challenging look at birdie. She had the line. Just needed a little bit more oomph on it. Would have been another step into a share of the spoils. We could have seen 3 players at 8 under in a span of about 65 seconds. But it's joint top. Chang Soo-yeon and Isomi, the final 4 holes of the opening event of the season. We're about 60 to 75 minutes away from finding out who will take the first title in 2022. Lindrian needed that par to stay in the hunt. Keeps her at 7 under. To 16. And nearly a devastating miss off the back. That is very close to some unfavorable terrain. Just running it back down the hill. This is so tricky to try and judge. And unfortunately for Janana, she's judged that well off to the right. She's going to get some help if it stays on the step. She's yelling at it to stop, and it's gone. That is a lonely walk to the other side of the green. Isomi now teeing off par 5, 15th. It's looking left. As long as it stays in the fairway, she'll be all right. Oh, bounces off and into the rough. Hooked that one a little bit. And now a long uphill putt for par for Chanana. Her weight control is just not there right now. Significantly off on the line as well, the last 2 strokes, and she's going to be dropping. Likely down into 9th position if she holds this. Fueling up for the home stretch. Never in the history of this event has somebody won the tournament twice, let alone defended their title. Could be in for a historic run, the final few holes. Yuhei Ran, if she holds this, she's tied for the lead heading to the clubhouse. Comes up a touch short. It's an exceptional day. Birdie gets her to 5 under, which would be the mark to beat on this Sunday. Speaking of 7 under, a cruel near make. So she'll be stuck 2 back. On pace to be her best performed round of the weekend. It just might be a little bit too little of what would be required for the title. Agyal, nice up after miss it tee shot at the par 3. Oh no. The overcooked chip, the overblown putt. Second putt goes awry too. It'll be a 3-putt situation for Chanana. And Yuhei Ren does have her birdie. Tied for runner-up for now. And depending on how the final few holes go, she'll have to keep herself somewhat prepared for a potential playoff, something she was familiar with a couple of times in 2021. And The unofficial exit from the tournament for Chanana, who was so steady, so clean. 2 birdies, the rest had been pars until a double. There will be a bogey as well for Pacquiao. So she trades places on the leaderboard with Yu Heran. Her first bogey since the first hole of the day. And also at 16. Tap in par. Stays within 2. To the penultimate hole she goes. One final par 5 to conquer. Well, all things considering, it's not a terrible line for Misomi. She's left again, though. Just has enough available real estate to stay in the fairway. To the 16th. Another shot from the rough this time. Song would have been hoping to see that stay on the green, but she is bounced and rolled right off the back right. Fortunately for her, a bit of a day to forget as well. Right in the hunt, but she hasn't been able to find her birdies. Bogey at the 6th to drop to 4 under. She's made a couple birdies, but that's where the luck's gonna run out. And that lands with a thud. These greens are so dry, so firm. And what other surprises does the green have in store here? Comes to rest on the fringe. Genie, final hole of the tournament. And into the sand. She would have been hoping for a birdie here to sit back in the clubhouse and watch the final 4 groups make their way through. She's going to have some work to do to get out of the sand in one piece. 6 iron for So Yeon Jung, par and bogeys the 2nd and 3rd round. And this is where the hard putting surfaces can help you a bit. 10 meters shy. Had a decent kick forward. Just off the cart path now. Injuyan. Oh, that's going to be one heck of a bounce. Off the cart path, off another cart. And just steps away from the clubhouse. You can hear the shouts for 4 right away, and that's not a slight miss. That's a major miss hit. Hooked into trouble. when you see people needing to duck for cover, you know something has gone seriously awry. As you can see, the par 5s for Isomi have been absolutely dynamite this week. 7 under on the par 5s. Par 3s, not so much. Luckily for her, she has 2 more par 5s to finish. She add another birdie to her total. She's putt from worse lies than this, excuse me.
바람이 좀 덜 불었어. 오늘은 안 된 것 같은데.
Now needs to get this close. Sit, ball, sit. It'll be nerve-wracking moments. She's in a tie for 4th. With Kim Ae-rim, Hung Ji-yeon, and Chang Soo-yeon to start the day. Picked up a stroke. Now at risk of losing it once again. Speaking of the aforementioned Chang Soo-yeon, 3 under for the day unless she can hold this and take sole possession of the lead from the fringe. So have enough weight. Started left and stayed left, so Isomi's cushion will be prolonged by at least 1 more hole.
감독님 저희 칠게요.
Well, that was mere meters away from being expensive. How incredible. 2 officials on the scene to help her out and make sure she's taking the appropriate amount of free relief from the steps that lead down to the 18th green. So it'd be pretty easy if she could just put it in from here. She wouldn't have far to walk to sign her card. While they get that straightened out, let's head back to Hamin Song, trying to save par. Avoid dropping down to 8th. It's going to be short. So she's back to even, where she started the day at 5 under. Rounds of 70, 70, and 71 through the first 3 holes, and three holes away from making a 72 to complete the collection there. Now Isomi putting from the fringe. This is makeable. Looking a bit left, slightly less than the power required. She'll be able to save her par. Genie, the struggles on 18 for this group continue. One's beside the clubhouse and one's in the sand. That's almost the perfect landing location. She would have liked to have been about 5 feet deeper when she hit the fringe and kicked back to the middle. Now a crucial putt on 16 to stay at 8 under. Nicely done. Off to the 17th and still on the top step for now. lengthy birdie look at the par 3 17th. 15 centimeters shy of moving one back at the lead. So a birdie and some luck will be her order on the 72nd and final hole. Still trying to sort this out. If you missed it, a bounce off the cart path, a bounce off the cart itself, and steps away from the clubhouse has In Ju-yeon in quite the predicament. So for those who are new to the sport, new to the tour, the reason she has the driver in her hand is because it's the longest club in her bag, and that is how they determine how you take your free relief from man-made obstacles on the course like sprinkler heads and in that case steps. So we see Isomi confirm her par. I've referenced it a few times this weekend. Hard to not with the gravity of the tournament taking place in the United States of America this weekend, but we even saw Scotty Scheffler need some help on the final hole when he found the trees and the pine straw and he needed to take his 2 clubs of relief. I think if she can find a recovery shot like Scheffler had, she will be quite the happy young lady. So in the end, she's gone to the opposite side of the cart path, and now she needs to figure out how far back she is and how far downhill she will be playing. What is 17 in the meantime? .167 meters, this final par 3. A birdie here yesterday. It was an absolutely unbelievable end to her round yesterday. Birdies at 16, 17, and an eagle at the 18th. And considering that she had four bogeys, prior in her round, that was absolutely massive, especially considering where we are now. Well, the 16th hole. .324 meters. A glance at her round. 9 of 12 fairways in regulation. 13 of 15 greens in regulation. It's to keep her head with driver. Maybe take a hair off the power and just make sure you're in the fairway. Otherwise, that can occur. Smiling even with the tournament hanging in the balance. She is a cool customer out there. Finally able to see the recovery. This is still the third shot. Oh my word, off the fringe, and it's gonna get even closer. How she is in this good of a position to save a birdie is absolutely remarkable. What a shot this is. Shot of the weekend, bar none. And that's saying something considering she had a hole-in-one just a couple of days ago. Incredible. Wow, just when we thought we might be able to see her drop off the front page of the leaderboard, she pulls that out on the final hole of her tournament after back-to-back bogeys and a nightmare approach. My word. We could see her one back despite the challenges. That's why you can't look away for a moment here on the LPGA Tour of Korea. William Gini has needed to be patient after the nearly unthinkable sequence of shots we just saw, and perhaps waited a little bit too long to overthink this putt. It is a tap-in par. 3 under on the way out, 1 under on the way in. She sits 1 back and will be quietly rooting for some bogeys from Isomi and Chang Soo-yeon. Level with Yuhei Ran, who's 5 under, remains the lowest round of the day. Tremendous finish under pressure. Speaking of pressure, every shot magnified these final 30 minutes. The opening event of the season, and should be noted as well in the case of Yuhei Ran, opening round 74, 2 over, then a 71, 69, and 67. She continued to improve. I had only been kidding about her holing out and being able to stay in the clubhouse, and that must be the most deflating thing in the world, to have the recovery shot that she did and to lip out. So it won't be her birdie after all of that. And she'll hustle off the green so the group behind can finish through, but there is a world where she holds that out. Isomi, Chang Soo-yeon bogey down the stretch, and we have a playoff that she would have earned with the shot from about 45 feet away from target. What a roller coaster that 18th was, one she'll never forget. But as it stands, it's a battle between two 3-time winners. Isomi, just 3 holes away from defending her title successfully. Her second from the rough. Her caddy likes it, Isomi seems to like it. That would be why, and it's going to get even a little bit of a roll back in closer, as long as it doesn't roll too far. That's what's left for a birdie. On 17, our co-leader. This will be one to test her calm in a high-stakes environment. Misses this, she drops out of the lead. Just enough at the end to trickle in. Big time save. And off to 18. Speaking of 18, Pacquiao, 2 back of the lead. We need an eagle to draw level. Has a chance to join the growing 7 under club with the birdie. Will be her 281st stroke this weekend. Didn't go to plan. Heading into the weekend, Kime Reem, she was 5 under in round 1, 4 under in round 2, so she started the day yesterday at 9 under par, which would still be the top score of the tournament. However, yesterday 4 over par, and she is 3 over as she makes her way down today, the 18th fairway. Dropping 10 more spots, currently in a tie for 14th. Also at 3 over for the day. Now he won, unless she can make this long par putt stick. She will be dropping to 4 under. par over, excuse me, she would be on par on Gian, and she is short. So out of the top 10, well, she will be tied for the 10th spot with China now. Frustrating one after all kinds of momentum she created for herself yesterday. We're seeing more and more golfers adopt this grip with the left hand lower. It's inverted from what is quote unquote typical. About a ball's width and a half away to start, and too much. Couple that with how quickly that lurched forward. Still has some work to do for par. So me for birdie, a chance to get back up to 9 under, and the outright lead. It's just going to run out of time. That moved off to the right at the very, very end. We are in for a showdown and potentially even for a playoff at this rate. And important to note, like we saw in the font earlier, her struggles on par 3s this weekend. A refresher. Round 1, par, par, bogey, bogey on her par 3s. On Friday, par, bogey, par, par. Yesterday, par on the 5th, birdie on the 8th, which has been a rarity for her, and then par 14, par 17. Today, par at 5, par at 8, bogey at 14, and the 17th still to be written. That's coming up next. The home stretch of our coverage of the opening round of the season. This is the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. Well, not the end of the rounds Park-Yeo would have been hoping for. Comes up shy of what could be an important score of 281. It is 282. And a tie for 5th at the moment. It's 221 meters out. She certainly has the power to reach. She's going for it, but she's left, and at least in the sand. And yes, that is the result. She's even today. She was in an enviable position. Just couldn't get the birdies to drop. Ooh, this will be dangerously right. Should be okay, but off target. Only had about 6 feet of wiggle room. So there's a wide open green down there on 18. It's proving hard to find. If you're Isomi right now with how well you've played the final hole of the day, you're thinking to yourself, I've got 3 shots here. Maintain the cushion and get to 18. She likes it. Little twirl. She's going to get a lovely roll back down in center. So par, almost a certainty, and a shot at birdie. It's really down to just 2 players. Isomi, Chang Soo-yeon. The latter, 4 years Isomi's senior, 27 years of age. Twice she finished on the podium last year. Has not won since the 39th KLPGA Championship back in 2017. Her final tee shot of the day, unless we need a playoff, of course. Off to a good start. Eagle here yesterday. And very soon we'll be able to trim that down. Of note, Oh Ji-hyun also in the clubhouse. The 2-under round of 70. Isomi, Chang Soo-yeon. Only one other player still on course on the front page of the leaderboard. Intensity is ratcheting up on this championship Sunday. Well, she was going for it in 2 as a result. Lost some accuracy and is working from the sand, which is never an issue for Chanana. One of the best worldwide in general, but especially from the bunker. It's just on another complete other level. What must be rolling through her thoughts right now? Thinking back to the last time she climbed to the top step. Sit indeed.
그러면은 저기 클럽하우스에 창문 2개 있는 거 보이죠? 어떤 거요? 뾰족 창문 2개. 아, 2개 정도 보이죠? 오른쪽 어디까지가? 해저드 스타트가 이거 말고 왼쪽에 페어웨이 끝나는 거. 그건 넘어가. 되고.
It's when you know it's getting down to the final couple holes. If 8 under is not the championship winning score, we could be in for some bonus golf. A hush has befallen Lotte Sky Hill Country Club. Isomi for birdie. Just the second birdie on a par 3 this weekend, if it can go. Missed to the inside. Be at least one more shot for Soyeon Jung. Perhaps giving us some final clues at how the green is playing. Chananaz. So go ahead, finish out. Taps in to wrap up her tournament. Consecutive rounds of 71, followed by consecutive rounds of 70 for a final score of 282 and a tie for 5th position. Well, despite finding the sand with her second, it is birdie at the last for Chanana. She was 3rd in the points, 3rd in the money in 2021, and save for that double bogey just a few holes ago, she would have been in line for a podium. It is a tie for 8th at the minute, and another good start to the year. .220 to reach with the fairway wood or leave her with just a chip. And she is on. And still rolling ever closer. And this could be in line for an eagle to seriously shake up what we had anticipated to be a close finish. And before I could even finish my sentence, the backspin and the downslope had slightly other ideas, but the eagle is still on. That is best case scenario, and Isomi, she will tap in her par as I had prognosticated. Get to 18 at 8 under, and she would be in a good position. She has done just that. And she too is on to her final hole of her regulation 72. We are in for an incredible showdown. Well, this is the 18th, the 9th hole of the Sky Course, 444 meters. 2 eagles today, potentially a third upcoming momentarily. 96 birdies, but 211 pars over the course of this weekend. The pin location today, 7 yards off the back, 9 yards from the left. And as we've seen, especially with relatively normal and calm winds, it is absolutely reachable in 2. However, the final hole of your tournament, the last thing you want are unforced errors. We've already seen the sand come into play for Chanana and a few others. And yes, with it so far to the back, you've got to be as deep as possible. So if you're trying to reach in 2, if it's not comfortable, there's not a whole lot of reward to the risk you take, because really you'd have to really cook it to get to the back. Isomi, as mentioned, birdie, par, par. She's been good here. She's been great on the par 5s in general. And right to the very end of that first fairway before the cart path. This is a hole for power hitters. Isomi, the 12th, longest driving distance in 2021. She was built for these kinds of holes with not a ton of obstacles. Was driving 255 yards on average in round 1, slightly tapered off to average around 249 the past 2 rounds. Importantly for Isomi, she's really straightened out her greens and fairways in regulation. Both had taken a dip yesterday in round 3.
끝에도 그냥 펴지는 거라서.
I'll look back into the time capsule. 18 last year. And yeah, quite impressive. Oh. A flashback to some of the previous champions here. Who will etch their name in 2022? It's all the way back in 2016. She won this event. 6 years ago, she was just 21 years of age. Last year when Isomi did it, 22 years of age. She has been waiting for a very long time to get back to a win. The 39th KLPGA Championship, her last one in 2017. It has been 5 long years. Tied for a runner-up as well. The Lotte Championship presented by Hershey on the LPGA, back when she was just outside the top 50 in the world. And last year, a runner-up finish. Excuse me, a runner-up finish. Twice she was on the podium last year looking for the title here. Gave it a good try. So the ball back in Isomi's court. That close to an eagle to get to 10 under. You can see just how difficult it is. That is one of the best vantage points we have seen. Tells you why there's only been 2 eagles here, all tournament long. Just got to refocus. Make her birdie and put the pressure on. If she misses, Isomi could cruise through with how well she's been striking the ball today. Three times a champion, 6 times a runner-up, 7 times P3. All in all, 50 career top 10s. Now, remarkably, her 227th event in her career. Well, she had a great round to win this back in 2016. 8 under par to finish. The tournament score of 13 under. And that was after going 1 over out of the gate in round 1. It's all about resetting, getting her mind straight, and believing she could. On the way to first win in her career. Now it could be the most recent and her 4th. Just outside of a meter for birdie. And the lead belongs to her for now. 5 birdies on the round. 1 bogey. At the moment, she is in the driver's seat at 9 under par. She'll get down to business, get that card signed, made official, witness one of her group mates, and then look over her shoulder quite a bit as she waits for Isomi to make her way down.
3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 4, 5.
She can still win this thing outright. It would take just the 3rd eagle of the event. And with the way these two have been playing 18, I don't think anyone would have a complaint with a 1v1 showdown again at 18. She's 12 meters closer than Cheng Su-Yan was on this approach. She bounces off the rough, avoids the sand. That is a very big bounce. Will it be a tournament winning shot for the ages? This gives me some flashbacks to Pak Bo Mi last year on the way to the first win in her career. I just remember on 18. Was playing absolutely fearless. Tried to reach again with a second that bounced off the cart path to the left of the fairway, bounced again and kicked back out in the fairway, basically giving her a free 40 extra meters. And then 2 shots to finish it off and secure the first win in her career. You gotta be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. Isomi certainly has the good carried off. And then reference to Pak Bo Mi. Missed the cut by 1 stroke this weekend. A disastrous 5 over in her first round. 1 under in round 2, just wasn't quite enough. One under is also the score through 17 holes. Na Hee-won. 100 meters out. Just pitching it up to the green. And look at that, on a line to set up a birdie. And despite a quiet day, this birdie would take her into a tie for 3rd when the dust settles. Unless Isomi can only come away. Stand corrected, I still had the 2nd round leaderboard up when we were looking back on Pak Bo Mi, but yes, it's been a day she'd like to have back, to say the least. 5 over. You have to go all the way down to, ironically, her group mate to find a higher score at 8 over. It's the 2nd highest score of the day. The only one to be higher in the 4th and final round was an 84. That's 12 over, carded by Kim Ga-yoon. Quite the disappointing day, a fall from grace, considering she was in about a top 30 position when she woke up this morning. So Isomi will take her free relief from the drain. Line it up and drop it behind the tee. As long as she's within the 2 club lengths, she'll be all right. Intense moments. Cheng Su-Yan, who's looking over, keeping a closer eye on this than anybody. 126 million won are up for grabs. Back when she won it in 2016, the purse was 6 million won smaller. first of 2 wins.
확실하게 넘겨주세요.
아니야, 그 앞에 맞춰 한번 잡고 내려갈 수 있어.
Last year, she also won the Taiwania with a remarkable 3-round score of 15 under par. August 15th, the last time Isomi was a winner on tour.
플랜치 히트야죠?
맞아.
If she holds this, she's the champion. Get it as close as possible and set up your birdie. Oh no, she didn't get it up the slope. And she may be right back off the green. She'll just catch the fringe. And now only about 6 meters closer. She all of a sudden has a putt to stay alive. Otherwise, Chang Soo-yeon is a winner again. An unbelievable turn of events. I think in that moment she knew her odds increased significantly, but Nerves of Steel doesn't even flinch. Now she's just allowing herself a smile out of the corner of her mouth. Park Ji-young now for birdie. Just onto the front of the green. Through 3 strokes. Well, she certainly didn't see this coming today. Nobody saw an 8-over round coming for the 26-year-old.
밀리면서 쭉 내려.
She too is a 3-time champion, 3-time runner-up, 5-time P3 in her career. She won the 15th S-Oil Championship last season, ended up finishing 19th in the money list, 20 in the points. Park Ji-young. Isomi needs to make this highly improbable putt, otherwise that will be your winner. And remember the replay we saw Chang Soo-yeon at the last hole and how much undulation there is. Got to get up the hill and has to have the line perfect. Isomi for birdie to force a playoff.
Go.
It started on line. It needs to go. It needs to go. It is just centimeters to the right. And a champion again for the first time since 2017. Chang Soo-yeon has won this event for the second time. The first time in history we have a 2-time champion at this event. You can see her eyes flicking back and forth, back and forth. Do I have a chance? Do I have a chance? Probably the most nervous she's been in years and nearly gets tackled. Congratulations. A winner again on the LPGA Tour of Korea.
나이스 버디.
Well, that will feel good. A Sunday to try and forget. Out with a 41, a double bogey at the second, 3 bogeys in a row, and 3 more bogeys on the back 9. But a birdie to finish at 1 over.
뛰어가지 말고 걸어가. 멋있게. 우리가 뒤에서 천천히 걸어가 줄게.
A 4-round score of 289.
언니, 우리가 끌고 가는 컨셉으로.
Well, she knows the water shower is coming. The pedal shower to follow shortly thereafter. It'll be a well-deserved P2. But it certainly felt like we were heading for a playoff. This for birdie.
나이스 버디.
Off the lip and in. Out with the 36, in with a 40. She finishes her tournament at 4 under. Tied for 11th with Jae-Min Young. And a par to make it official. It is 1 stroke away from repeating as champion, and now the celebrations can begin. And of course, Chanana is right in there, not just with a little bowl, but with the entire bag. And here they come to congratulate for the first time in half a decade, a champion again. She will go to congratulate and share a moment with Isomi, and now she's in the clear. The first water shower and the flowers follow. Champion of the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. Thank you indeed for the towel.
프로님 저기 한 번만 사진 보여달래요. 잠깐만 목 닫지 마, 목 닫지 마. 뒤로.
Fourth win in her career. What a feeling.
우리 쪽으로 와요. 형 우리 쪽으로 와. 우리 쪽으로 와.
너쪽이 더 가야 돼. 아니 그쪽 아니고 이쪽.
네.
네네.
39th KLPGA Championship by Isu Group. 2016 NH Investment and Securities Ladies Championship. And back when this event was known as the Lotte Mart Ladies Open. Well, after a remarkable approach, she was that close to an eagle, but she got her birdie on 18. And we'll be remembering this one for a very long time. When it just doesn't go your way, the doubt begins to creep in. Will I ever have that feeling again? Will I ever get to the top? But champion here on this Sunday, April the 10th, on Jeju. Your final leaderboard, by the slimmest of margins, down to the third final shot of the entire competition before it was made official. Yuhei Ran, what a day. 5 under, up into a tie for third with Im Jini, Soyeon Jung, Hamin Song, Bakyeol as well, all at 6 under par. And Juyan, a great round as well to finish on the front page of the leaderboard. Chana now just 1 under today, same with Jae-Min Young. Tied for 9th and tied for 11th respectively. Kime Reem, who was at 9 under after 36 holes, finishes the tournament at 3 under. Another round over par today, 2 strokes. Now you won, of course, 4 over, 76 in the final round. Well, we'll step aside. We'll come back with an interview with our champion as the preparations on the green continue for the first awards presentation of the season. Well, how the world has changed. So much has happened since her last title, but back in vintage form. So we take you through the highlights of the round before we get down once again to the 18th green. The birdies, they were dropping left and right all day long. Starting with one at the first. And then serpentining all the way in. Tricky one from Isomi. She too started on an absolute flyer. Let's take it to the fourth hole now. Isomi, the par fives that she loves oh so much. Her first of the round. And yeah, that good, that pinpoint accurate. Just a couple of feet shy. And got it to stick. 9 under at that point in the day. Evidently, based on her final score, there would be some hardships in the future. First, also some success on the par 5, this time the 9th. Out with a 33, 3 birdies, 6 pars, bringing her up to 6 under at that point, and at 7. Needed to stay just enough to the left, dealing with the slope. Second birdie of the round, her first since the opening hole. Then at 9. This was a very kind par 5 to many today, especially to our top 2 on the leaderboard. Knocks it off the flag stick and down. 33 on the way out, 3 under. At that point, 8 under par at the turn. And again, at 9, Isomi from 68 meters out, splitting the traps. And again, a meter. She was that dialed in on the front 9. Out with a 34. And at 9 under par. That would have been enough to force a playoff. This was the 15th. Surprise, surprise. Another par 5. ENG floats it in. Stays nice and tight to the front lip of the green. Birdies, they were a-flying. Birdied the par 5 9th. Then she birdied the par 5 15th. That got her to 8 under par. Tied with Isomi, and then one final birdie on the day, again at the par 5 after a near eagle. Great approach. Final shot of her tournament, a round of 68 and a combined tournament score of 279. After a disappointing chip, Isomi needed this to force a playoff. She came oh so close, but not close enough. And then it was made official for the first time since 2017 at the 39th KLPGA Championship. Our winner, and the first to repeat, take you through some of the past champions. The first event, 2008, Jae Young, 13 under par. Then in 09, back when it was just 3 rounds, Sahi Gyang, then Kim Bo Bae in 2010. 2011, the tournament switched back to 4 rounds, won by Shim Yeonhwa. Kim Yo-ju, we've seen that name a few times back when she still had braces on. She's grown up and become one of the best in the world. 2013, course played super tight. Just 1 under for Kim Seong when she won it then. Lee Min-young too, back in 2014. 2015 belonged to Kim Bo-gyung. Then 2016, also with the orthodontics, but yes, a fantastic highlight that we showed you earlier in the round, which she won with a 13 under. 18 under was the score for Lee Jung-yeon. 2018, Kim Ji-hyun. 2019, Cho Ae-yeon as a rookie. Last year, Isomi. 2021, it was 6 under. And now, 2022, our latest winner, 27-year-old wonder. Her 4th win in her career. Fitting for the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. She's not going to have to pay for this rental, but she will get a drive up to the green. So we'll take you down out of the 18th for the awards presentation.
기념 촬영이 진행되겠습니다. 네, 임지영 선수 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 네, 감사합니다. 이렇게 홀인원 시상이 있었고요. 2022년
A pretty good prize for a hole-in-one. Wasn't even the best shot of her tournament. In Juyang. Take it back to the second round on the par 3 14th.
모두 뒤를 돌아서 페어웨이 쪽을 바라봐 주시기 바랍니다. 여자부 우승자가 친환경 전기차 타고 시상식장으로 이동하고 있습니다.
Promise you, if you're not allowed to take a golf cart on the green, you're not going to take a Genesis. As cool of a visual as it would have been, but yes. A drive down the fairway and down the red carpet to accept her trophy.
네, 지금부터 본격적인 시상을 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 한국 여자 프로골프 투어 강춘자 대표이사님께서 우승 자켓을 전달해 주시겠습니다. 강춘자 대표이사님, 우승 자켓을 전달해 주시죠. 네, 2022년 챔피언 강수영 선수 너무너무 축하드립니다.
자, 여기 앞에 오세요.
빨간 우승 자켓을 다시 한번 입고 기념 촬영을 진행하고 있습니다. 역시 너무나도 잘 어울리는 모습이죠. 네, 강수영 선수 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 다음으로는 SBS 미디어넷 김기용 사장님께서 꽃목걸이를 전달해 주시겠습니다. 네, 김기용 사장님 꽃목걸이를 전달해 주시기 바랍니다. 네, 2016년 이 대회에서 생애 첫 우승을 거머쥐었던 강수영 선수 굉장히 의미가 남다를 것 같은데요. 다음으로는 롯데렌탈 김현수 대표이사님께서 우승자에게 우승 상금 1억 2,600만 원을 전달하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 대표이사님께서는 시상수표에 장수연 선수의 이름과 서명을 부탁드리겠습니다. 장수연 선수의 이름 그리고 서명을 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 한 글자 한 글자 심혈을 기울여서 작성을 해주고 계신데요. 네, 이렇게 우승 상금 1억 2,600만 원이 장수연 선수에게 전달되고 있습니다. 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 네, 우승 상금 전달에 이어서 다음으로 롯데렌터카 여자 오픈 우승 트로피를 전달하시겠습니다. 네, 트로피가 굉장히 큽니다. 두 분 함께 드시고 무대 앞으로 향해서 서주시죠. 네, 이렇게 다시 한번 롯데렌터카 여자 오픈 우승 트로피를 들어올렸습니다. 강수영 선수 너무너무 축하드립니다. 네, 계속해서 시상을 이어가도록 하겠습니다. 이번에는 우승자 특전인 2023 LPGA 롯데 챔피언십 출전권을 전달해 주시겠습니다. 네, 2023 LPGA 롯데 챔피언십 출전권 강수영 선수가 이번에 얻게 됐습니다. 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 네, 이제 김영수 대표이사님께서는 자리로 들어가 주시기 바랍니다. 네, 마지막으로 호텔 롯데 롯데리조트 고원석 대표이사님께서 롯데스카이 CC 명예회원권을 수여해 주시겠습니다. 롯데스카이 CC 명예회원권을 수여하고 있습니다. 김수영 선수 축하드리고요. 네, 이렇게 모든 부상의 전달이 끝났습니다. 지금부터는 시상을 도와주신 오늘 네 분들과 함께 기념사진 촬영을 진행하도록 할 텐데요. 네 분과 함께 장수영 선수 나란히 서주시길 바랍니다.
자, 잘하셨습니다. 자, 앞에 오시죠. 네, 잘하셨습니다. 하나, 둘. 네, 감사합니다.
네, 축하드립니다. 2016년 바로 이곳에서 생애 첫 우승을 기록한 이후 또 오랜만에 이곳에서 우승을 하게 된 장수영 선수.
Well, for a while it would have felt like a distant memory. A very different situation back 5 years ago when she had initially won the championship. Our SBS golfers on the Korean language broadcast breaking down, giving their thoughts on fantastic tournament. It's tell you, they had some of the best seats in the house, especially with a few wild shots down the stretch. What an exciting opening weekend, and we won't have to wait long to do it all over again. After waiting months for this event, we only have to wait a few days until Thursday. We will head to the Mediheal Hangugilbo Championship at Peiram. It starts Thursday in Yojugun in the neighboring city with Ichanchi. So back on the mainland for the first time in 2022. Treated to quite the tournament to start things off. And we still have 32 more. And our champion for the very first time this season. A long time in the making and a very well-deserved title. The first repeat champion in the history of this tournament, dating all the way back to 2008. A 9-under tournament score of 279 for Chang Suyan. On behalf of our entire crew, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of you for joining us this weekend. It's great to have the LPGA Tour of Korea back. And for one final time, we'll bid you farewell. For everyone here at SBS Golf, I've been Adam Jenkins. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you again Thursday when we do it all over again on the LPGA Tour of Korea.